Hey guys, this is More, and this time we'll be looking at the global events in our project. So, to access your global events, you go into the database and to the global events and settings tab, and it's right here, pretty plain in sight. And to edit an event, you can just select it from the drop down of events you already made and click edit, or in our case we want to try a new event that will use the same thing we made last time. Last time we made a quick event that upon a click of the escape button ends the game. But once you do it in this manner, the event is only usable on this map. What if we want to use it on more than one map? If you want it to be global to the entire game, such as a game rule. In which case, just for that, we have the option to use global events. Global events are events that are accessible from any map on the game, as well as can be called into local events to process certain code. So, let's make our event right here, call it end game button. Press create, and another page opens up of the global event. As you can see, this is very similar to the event page, considering the command area, as well as the templates. We can use the templates we made last time to import the code right into this part. Let's do that right now. Press right here and go into the templates, choose the template we want and click add. This pastes the code we made last time and exported into the command template outside the program. Once again, this is very useful for usable code as well as sharing. If you found a piece of code that you think could be usable for others, you can just export it into a template and share it on the web with your friends or whatever. So, the global events differ from regular events in a number of things. First of all, you have the prototype button. This isn't really useful in our case, but I'll show you what it does in a quickie. Certain commands let you reference certain event indexes to work upon. For example, the move command. The move command can walk through either a variable or through direct event indexes. But what if you want to operate on the hero or the current event for that matter? You have these two top options right here. If you want to operate on the hero and set the movement course for the hero, or if you want the event to move itself, you can choose this option for this, and this tells the event to act upon itself. This was what prototyping does. In certain cases you might want to tell the event to operate on itself by number base when you create it on the map. But once you copy it, the template, into here and set a course, it's still set as 16, but you don't want that to happen when you call it. Choosing the command and pressing prototype this changes the event index into this automatically for you for all the events you selected. This can be useful in certain points of your game creation, but it's not a daily usage kind of thing, but it's right there for you when you need it, so it's okay. Now, the last thing global events differ from regular events in is the activation process, since obviously you can't click interact or touch the events that don't have actually on the map and are just global. They're not present on the map, they're just loaded into memory. So you have different activation methods from this. You obviously have the automatic activation, just like for events. This makes sure, and this is what we will use for this command, this makes sure that on every map you have on the game, this automatically will stop checking every time you start the game until the player presses the escape key, and then it will end the game. But other than that, we have two more options here, like you can see. They are by call and function mode. These aren't usable from the global event, and they are called by the local events on the map, and we'll get to that in a bit. So this is it for making the event for ending the game as a global event, and let's test it out. Go back here and let's delete this event that we don't need anymore. Let's save the map and press the play button. Once again, the game will load, and once we assume control of our character, we'll press the escape button, and surely enough, it will exit the game again. Now, I mentioned calling the global events from local events, so let's try that one out. Let's create an event right here. We don't need a graphic for it, it's okay. Set it above others so it doesn't interfere with the heroes moving on the map. And double click to add a new command. And right here we have a command called call global event. What this does is list the global events you have in your game for you, and lets you choose them and call them right through the event you're working on locally. Now, once we do that, the game knows to make the event called the global event that we declared globally. Once we do that and set it to by call, if we set this to automatic again, save and play, this will have exactly the same functionality as using a local event, just like we did last time, but lets you use the code in more than one event if you so want to. Once again, we'll press escape and the game will end. What this means is that if you create another event and make it automatic, you can use the exact same thing and use the call global event into end game. This means that both events call this same global event and use its code as their own. This isn't very helpful right now since we just use the thing to end the game, but in other cases it could be really useful. Still, it's pretty outdone by templates, but still, if you so want to, this is still possible. So, lastly, we have the function mode. The function mode is a special mode for global event activation. It works just like the by call. However, by call, when use the by call as activation option and call the event from a local event, this tells the engine that you want to execute the code from the global event, and just like that. But if you set it to function mode, what the engine knows to do in that case, it takes all the code in the global event and pastes it automatically into the event at the position the call is made. And once from there, it's kept at that position. It's no longer, the call event will disappear from the command list during runtime, and the event will treat the code in the global event as its own. This is particularly useful if you use the this pointer I showed earlier in the video, since if you use it by call activation, the this event will treat this as the global event, so it won't be able to use it on graphics and stuff. You can only use it on various stuff that doesn't relate to the physical events on the map. However, if you use the function and go back here again and tell this move right, this would tell the event to use its own index, and once this is reached, this event will move one to the right since it's the one who called it. This method is used in all the objects on this map. As you can see, we use the call to block on the map on this the block event right here. Let's go to this event. Once we click edit, we see it has a bunch of code in it, checking various things, checking if the hero is below it, and if it's if it can even move, checking if the thing wasn't even used. This is a place where you can use the extra stats in very useful manner. What this does is check if the extra one is set to 1. Once we finish jumping into that, we subtract 1 from the extra 1 stat, and so the event knows not to let you get another coin from it. So this is more advanced look into event management in Phantasya and things you can do with it. So I really hope I was clear on this, and if not, I'll probably make another video in the coming days that will explain more detailed into things you can do and how you can use all this information efficiently. But for now, have a nice one, guys.